I'll leave mine on. What the hell?
Well, just when you're live streaming, the camera really. When you're live streaming, the camera really bogs down your bandwidth.
Does it slow it down? Okay, I'll go ahead and turn it
a
off.
lot. Yeah, you get real choppy.
All right, we'll do that then. Let me see. Get to my channel so I can see if anybody joins us. Mute that so I don't hear an echo in the background. Yeah, probably nobody will be here.
Get it on my phone so I can watch the chat if there is any.
Pete, that's what she said. Jerk. Get in here, Neil.
Nothing shows up there. Okay. Looks like there's one watcher, probably me.
It could be me. I've got it. I've got it up so I don't miss the chat this time because I was really bad at multitasking last night. Because, like I said, I'd never done this before. So,
my phone is stupid. When I'm watching these, sometimes I gotta like close out the app and log back in like 2 or 3 times before the chat will start streaming for me.
Okay,
it's weird.
Gotcha. Yeah. That's probably what's going to happen on my end too. Then I'm going off of PC, but I don't know if it's going to really make that much of a difference.
Mm-hmm.
So if anyone's listening, welcome to my 200 subscriber live stream. I meant to do this earlier.
I think it's more than 200.
Hey, there he is. All right. So I am joined by Tap and Die. I've got Reality's Frank. Might get Pete in here. We'll see what happens. Yeah. So this one's going to be short because I have to spray for bugs today, so I can't be here very long.
So you had LMP over?
Yeah, he stopped by and spent the night, and God knows what he left behind. So yeah. But anyways, I promised everybody that's listening that I was going to do a live stream once I hit that 200 mark, and I hit it a lot quicker than I thought it would, which makes me happy. At the time of this recording, I'm at 212, so that's pretty cool. So
yeah, rub it in.
All we're gonna do is we're just gonna talk about our favorite bad movies and how we got into bad movies, and we'll keep it short and keep it real. And I'm gonna let Frank go first.
My favorite bad movie is Raiders of the Lost Ark. No.
Harsh, man, harsh.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a bad movie, kind of, if you think about it. Because
it's really not.
You can take Indiana Jones completely out of the movie and everything would still wind up the same way.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah. But that's okay.
Yeah. No, I've mentioned this many times in the past. It's become the great running joke of my life. My favorite bad movie is Manos: The Hands of Fate.
Please tell us about Manos: The Hands of Fate. Where was the first time you saw it? And how did it change your life?
Okay, well, the odd thing is I never really watched Mystery Science Theater when I was younger. I just didn't see the appeal of it or any of the bad movies. I kind of came into my masochistic love of bad movies rather late in life, in my early 30s. Anyway, a friend of mine and his dad were doing a podcast radio show called Mystery Science Radio Shortwave, which you can find on Radio for All. And they brought me in because the show was based on Mystery Science Theater and Doctor Who and all these other sci-fi things. And they wanted me to come in and be the master from Manos. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so the first couple of times they had me on, I wasn't even in the studio with them yet. I was trying to, I finally got around to watching Manos because, okay, I got to see what this is about. And I instantly fell in love with it because of how cheesy it was. And
dude, I've seen that movie about 3 times. It is painful. It is a painfully bad movie.
I've had friends arrange 24-hour Manos streams for me on my birthday.
Oh, 24 hours of that?
I couldn't last that long.
No, I couldn't. Every time I watch it, I'm just like, I studied music in school and I used to play trombone and I thought I liked jazz until I saw Manos: The Hands of Fate. And every time I see Manos: The Hands of Fate, I instantly hate jazz again. And it takes me a while to get back into it. Like I won't even listen to Miles Davis. I'm like,
we weren't just watching the regular movie. We watched the plain movie itself. We watched the Mystery Science Theater version. We watched the Riff Tracks live version.
I've seen all 3 of those.
Yep. There was also a stage play version.
Now that I have to see. That's got to be cool.
And there is a puppet show version called Manos the Hands of Felt. So we'd cycle through these for 24 hours.
Oh my God. That's
Yes.
Yeah, I need to see that. I need that in my life for sure.
They're all on YouTube, so yeah.
Now, have you guys you guys did a watch party for Manos already, right?
Yep, that was our
That
very
was the
first
first
watch party.
That was your first one.
My suggestion.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I need to go back and watch that with your guys' commentary just for a fresh perspective. Because like I can get through it as long as people are talking through it, but that movie has like some kind of a weird hypnotic effect on me where it just makes me angry and makes me want to punch a baby. So
well, unfortunately, I had some kind of technical issue where about 10-15 minutes in, all of a sudden everything I said sounded like it was in a freaking echo chamber.
Yep.
And looking back on it now, I realized I should have just refreshed my Hangouts page, and it probably would have cleared up. But I sound like that through the whole show.
Oh my God!
It kind of
might have
ruins
been.
it.
Did you do that on? You did that on Google Hangouts? Because I've noticed that if I don't mute my stream while I'm watching it, like I'll get feedback from the delay. So it's that.
I have my headphones on, so it shouldn't have been getting any feedback at all. So I don't know what the hell happened, but
okay.
I regret that because it ruined what would have been otherwise a great video for me.
I've actually done.
I got my own riff tracks.
I did a radio interview one time, and I had the host playing in the background, and I didn't have the headphone on fast enough, and she could hear the delay, and she's like, "I need you to turn everything down," because she was broadcasting from college radio, so out of California, so that was interesting. Anyways, Tap and Die. What's your favorite bad movie, and how did you come into this crazy genre of bad movies?
Turkish Star Wars.
Turkish Star Wars. Yep, he's right.
Really?
Yeah, because I didn't watch all these really, really bad movies like what Frank watches until he got me into them. So he started telling me about watching them. So and I remember watching Manos. I was like, okay, that was a crazy experience. But then when we watched Turkish Star Wars, my mind was blown. I was laughing my ass off. I was just having a hell of a time watching this thing. How terrible it was, but I was still enjoying it at the same time. I mean, the closest thing I could think of to a really bad movie, what I guess what other consider was the Godzilla movie, the 1990s one, the one that was in New York or whatever the hell.
Yeah, 98.
Yeah, 98. Because, like I said, I didn't really watch B grade and all that kind of stuff movies, so I didn't know there was this whole other world out there. So that was literally the closest I could say to a really bad movie. But I still liked it. I just enjoyed it for the spectacle. But yeah, I would say it's Turkish Star Wars is my favorite right now.
My criteria for bad movies, it has to be something that's not boring, because there's like boring bad and then there's like bad. As long as it's a movie that's Turkish Star Wars is never boring. I mean, it's about as fast as one of the Lucas films.
Best montage ever. Training montage ever.
We never stopped laughing the entire movie. It just one thing after another.
Yep. And I'm thinking about it again.
We didn't have that much fun watching Kung Fu Hustle.
That is true. I mean, I was just trying to watch it because I had never seen that one before. But yeah, I would say we had more fun on Turkish Star Wars.
And I just recently got through that one the whole time because every time I seen that, I was never sober. So I would remember parts of it, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this part. Yeah, so because I would pass out just from the sheer weirdness of that movie, and it's hard to get used to the fact that they're using Raiders of the Lost Ark music in that movie.
Yep, as Indiana Jones theme.
I give them credit for at least trying to use John Williams. At least they got the right guy.
Yeah, they kind of had their circuits crossed there.
Can you imagine how crazy that would be if they had like Danny Elfman music in the background?
Oh, jeez. Yeah, right. You see the Millennium Falcon flying by. You got the Batman theme.
Right, that was crazy. Hey, but you know what? They did in the Lego Star Wars movie. They had Batman and Star Wars together, and the Lego movie.
Oh, once again,
I don't acknowledge Lego as a thing.
Sorry if I'm distracted. I'm trying to get Pete in here real quick, and as usual, he can't seem to join us. So
he can't do shit.
Will you stop playing with your Pete while we're doing a show?
I'm going to try to email him again.
Yeah, I don't know why he has so much trouble doing this.
I don't know. This is like the easiest part of this, so I'm not so sure either.
Yeah, I figured mine out since it was hard at first, but once you figure it out, it's like I tell him to copy and paste, but he says to have it sent to
He
his
seems to be
email.
able to get in through Gmail, so we'll see if that
Mhm.
helps him out or not. Okay, so I printed a big long list in my Facebook group today, and I made sure I put stuff in there that I knew is fun in a group setting, because some of these movies that are bad there he is. Okay.
Hey.
So we're just talking about bad movies, Pete. How we got into bad movies,
Oh.
what our favorite bad movies are, and I was just telling them that I put a list up in the Facebook group about all the movies that I'd like to do a watch party for somewhere in the future, and my criteria is basically anything that would be fun in a group setting, where we can do like what we did last night and just all have our own little snarky comments and
About colostomy bags and shit.
colostomy bags and shit in that order. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I need to listen to that.
Not shit and colostomy bags.
I got savage with the kid in the wheelchair, man. And
Right?
I got
Yeah.
savage.
And that was after I told you, this kid really is crippled, right? He had spina bifida.
You know, if they had just hired a kid who wasn't crippled, they could have. That's why they didn't, when they cured him, they didn't cure his paralyzation because he was a real crippled kid. That's why.
That's the funny thing. You guys have seen Silver Bullet, right? In Silver
Right.
Bullet, you got Corey
Yep.
Haim, who's definitely not crippled. And there's a part where he's climbing up a rose trellis to get into his room.
Yep.
And he's doing a really bad job because he's moving his legs. He's not even being sneaky about it. You know? It's like, this is where you would benefit from having somebody that actually is crippled, because you're breaking character constantly and you're taking me out of them. I like that movie, but it's got some problems.
Oh yeah, I have Google Hangouts and I fight like every time this happens. Like we fight, like, because I will go in, because I heard Tap talking about, and I'm gonna kick you in the nuts, Tap. I hope you saw my comment. But yeah, I go to like
About
I clicked on because you were making fun of me because I can't ever get into the damn Google Hangouts thing, man.
Well,
And
Pete, I'm going to interrupt you for a second. Whatever that Lego Snap-on program you use to make your podcasts with, what I go through with that is probably how you feel when you go through Google Hangouts.
Oh, dude, that thing is like, yeah, that. It took me a while to get the hang of Anchor, because I'm getting ready to switch off there. There's another platform I'm gonna try. As soon as I get all of my material off of Anchor and onto Podbean, I'm gonna switch platforms.
I love your show, but I hate that program so much. I was using my phone, and I had to dig around for a headset, and I used the damn headset that came with the phone, so that worked okay. None of my fancy headsets that I work for music would plug into my phone that you could hear at all. So Bluetooth wouldn't work, so that was unfortunate. But what was happening is every time the screensaver would kick in, it would disconnect me.
It does the same thing.
So I have to constantly stare at the phone and hold it up to my face while I'm talking to you, and my arm starts getting tired.
I know. I always have like my mouse hand and my phone hand, and I'll just like tap the screen like every couple minutes, or like, because I have my backlight set on my phone, so I'll just like tap the screen, keep it up, and then I'll like scroll through my computer. But yeah, I'm switching platforms. I want to have people on all the time, and it's such a pain with the way it's set up, and you can't record with multiple users from a computer on that either.
Yeah.
Like it makes no sense.
Anyways, what's your favorite terrible movie, and how did you get into this kind of subculture of so bad it's good entertainment?
Like one of my favorites from when I was a kid, it's an offbeat. Like I said, we were talking about Night of the Creeps last night, but Ghoulies is another one.
Yeah.
And
that is a good one.
That was like such a good counterpoint to Critters, because Ghoulies was like, it didn't really try as hard to be serious. Like maybe the first
it's
one
almost
did.
Self-aware, yeah.
It is, but the subsequent, I can't remember how many they made. Like I've seen the first one a couple times, and it's just one of those movies where it was like, it was kind of scary as a kid, but it was just like, you're looking at it like it was just dumb. That one, and the next one's a little bit better, but it's still kind of hokey. Is The Gate with what's his name, Stephen Dorff?
That's one that I'm trying to track
Stephen
down.
Dorff was in that.
I need that one on Blu-ray. I have it on DVD. I need to get it on Blu-ray. It's expensive. Yeah, that one is expensive for sure.
Those are two just like my favorite kind of offbeat horror movies. Okay, I've been joined by my my small diminutive co-host.
How's it
snuck in
going,
a
little
pop-up.
guy?
Trey says hi, Trey. And nope, now he's going to close the door. He's here for good. He's serious now.
Hi,
But
Trey.
yeah,
Say
those
hi,
are.
Trey. How's it going, little guy?
Did you hear that? Just said hi. Yeah, I gotta turn the echo down.
Awesome.
Listen, little buddy. Smoke, drink, and quit school. It's cool.
Smoke
And-
weed every day.
and now it's muted. And now it's muted. No, don't be like that. That's after somebody goes to bed. I know. I see you're eating a cookie. All right, don't get it on my couch.
No, me not eating a cookie. Me.
All right, go pretzels. Go find your mom. Okay. All right, we're done here. But yeah, so those are. How the hell am I supposed to be serious now? Those are just a couple of my favorites there. And absolutely, I haven't seen Ghoulies. Okay, thank you for the warning. I haven't seen Ghoulies in I don't know how long. But that is definitely like one I loved it. Like I said, you see it as a kid, and I think was there like 2 or 3 of them they made, but they're bad.
I think
there
I've
was
seen
only
it.
2 of those.
At one point, I've seen like pretty much all the 80s horror movies, and sometimes I don't necessarily remember them by name, but I'll remember them by scene. You know, it's like
Did you reference Munchies?
Oh my God, no!
Munchies was funny.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, that's where if you cut them up, they like multiply that way.
I'm glad that you brought up The Gate, though, because that's like one of my all-time favorites, and like my mom and I are like both into horror movies, and that's kind of one that we both equally love. And used to come on HBO a lot, and we used to watch that. I'm like, that's Steven Dorff right there. That was actually Steven Dorff. But I want to get that one on Blu-ray. But something like The Gate, a movie with the concept like that, could never get made now. You know, it's like there's no way they could ever make something that cool with $100 million budget.
Wait, what's this movie? Gate? What's it about?
The Gate. It's basically these kids find a rock album. I'm not making this up. They find a rock album by a band that was killed. They're like this satanic heavy metal rock band, and they find this record, and it's got this book inside, and they read a passage, and they accidentally open a gateway to hell in the backyard underneath the treehouse.
Yeah,
and that's the movie, and it's freaking fantastic. It's got some awesome special effects. It's got good pacing. The kids are funny in it. It's not necessarily intentionally funny, but there's definitely intentional humor in it, and it works on a massive 80s level. There's like that's one thing I liked about 80s horrors. There's just like weird things would happen. You just kind of would go with it, like, oh yeah, well that was a thing. I missed that. Yeah.
And the kid would go on to be Deacon Frost.
That's right.
Yeah, the bad guy. The bad guy.
A very young Steven Dorff in that movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was a lot uglier as a kid. He was a homely looking kid.
He didn't smoke as much either. Yeah.
That's crazy.
That was a good movie though. The creature effects in that were really good, and it had some good scenes, like just individual scenes in it, like the bathroom scene in the restaurant was really good. I mean, it was a cool movie.
That sounds cool. I guess that's a watch party now on the list.
Oh, The Gate? Yeah, definitely. And I'm surprised I forgot to put that one on my list. I had a whole bunch of stuff on there. Like somebody mentioned today, Dead Heat. That's a movie I haven't seen in forever. And if you guys have never seen Dead Heat, man, you're in for a hell of a good time with it. It's Joe Piscopo and Treat Williams. It's a zombie movie.
Oh wow!
Kind of a zombie movie. It's basically Darren McGavin has a machine that reanimates people once they're dead, and it's the setup of the movie, so it's not like a huge spoiler. One of the cops accidentally gets killed. They bring him back to life, and he's slowly decaying. He's trying to solve the crime of who killed him before he decays so much that he can't finish his job. So it's a buddy cop movie, except one of them's a zombie. And this came out in the 80s. I mean, this is like awesome stuff. You know, I miss the fact that people used to take risks, which is why I got into this in the first place. It's like you go back and you look at some of these old movies, and they're so much more fun than anything that's, you know, I don't want to be like one of those old guys, oh, they don't make them like they used to, but they really don't.
Cool.
Darren McGavin, the Night Stalker.
The Night Stalker.
He was on the Night Stalker show.
Yep.
That very one. Yeah, the Kolchak the Night
Kolchak.
Stalker. Yeah.
Yep, the original. Yeah, the
very
remake
same
was
guy.
the remake with Stuart Townsend wasn't bad, but
They remade Kolchak the Night Stalker?
yeah, in the mid to late 2000s,
was
ABC
not aware
did
of this.
a version of it. I got hooked on it because I liked Stuart Townsend in Queen of the Damned, and which was a really cool, that was a cool movie. God rest Aaliyah. But yeah, it was just kind of a remake of it, and it's obviously it failed because it got canceled. I think after the first season, and but yeah, it was kind of a cool show. I liked it.
I'm surprised they didn't get Chris Carter to do it because he based the X-Files on Kolchak the Night Stalker. It was basically an amalgamation of Kolchak the Night Stalker, his love for UFO stories, and Silence of the Lambs, which is what he based Scully on. He based Scully on Clarice Starling's character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a good one. No, there's a lot of great like offbeat movies out there.
You guys need to see Life Force. That would be a fantastic watch party. Yeah.
I think I saw some of that once.
It's got Patrick Stewart in it when he still had hair. He has a really bad comb over, but that was probably the last remnant of his hair because every movie he was in after that, the hair just get like more and more of it would disappear.
It was just gone.
Yeah, because I like that, and I'm like a huge fan of Excalibur. He's in that one as well, and that
Yes, he is.
Excalibur, I think, is my absolute favorite King Arthur movie that's ever come out. Anything else that's come out after it is just paled in comparison. That movie is weird and fun, and it's long, and it's never boring. So, but
I think I had that on VHS, but I never watched it, and now it's gone.
it's good if you like fantasy stuff because it kind of came out when fantasy stuff was like making a huge comeback in the 80s. Like you had all the Dungeons and Dragons and sorcery movies coming out, but this was based on Arthur D. Mortis, so they were basically trying to make a fantasy film within that context. So it's more about the mythology and less about the characters. So if that makes any sense. And when you watch it, you'll see a lot of like, oh, so that's where George Lucas got that idea from. Because King Arthur way predates George Lucas, the Sword and the Stone and the references to the dragon's breath is basically the Force in that movie. So, Merlin is Yoda. All of these tropes are, I don't want to say tropes really, but the mythos are borrowed heavily from legends like King Arthur that made it into Star Wars. So it's worth watching this for that at least.
You want me to go full nerd on this one?
Absolutely.
Okay. In Excalibur, Merlin is played by Colm Wilkinson, I think it is.
Denholm Elliott.
Oh, Colm Meaney. I think Colm something.
Was it Colm
He also played.
I'm gonna double check here. I think it's Denholm Elliott.
Anyway, the actor who played Merlin played Cagliostro in the Spawn movie.
Yes.
Who was once known as Merlin.
Yep.
Huh.
Tying those two characters and those two universes together, they could have done so much more with that. But I was really tickled when they did that in theater. I'm like, oh, because they never reference him as Merlin in the movie, but in the comic books, he's totally Merlin.
Yep, that also came up in the HBO series, which was excellent, and pissed me off that got discontinued.
See, let's look this up.
That should have had like 2 more seasons.
Also, Excalibur is really bloody, rated R, lots of nudity. Back then, rated R was not really a big deal. My parents took us to rated R movies. As long as they went with us, they were fine with it. So,
the woman playing Arthur's mother, when we see her get basically raped at the beginning of the movie, that was the director's daughter.
You know what, Frank, we're both wrong.
Say, Dad, can I be in the movie? Like, sure, you can play this
Merlin
part.
was played by Nicol Williamson, so we were both wrong.
That's right, it was. Yeah, right.
Nicol Williamson. Those only 2 movies I remember him from are Spawn and Excalibur.
He's funny. He's on there.
He's playing the same character in both movies, so it's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen this one. I really don't.
Excalibur. It's
Yeah.
it's not hard to find. It might be Netflix. It might be on Amazon Prime. I'm not really sure, but yeah, that's
It'll
one that's worth
occasionally-
watching.
Yeah, it'll occasionally show up in the $5 bin at Walmart. You got to dig
Yeah.
for it, though.
See, I'm afraid to dig through that because I'm kind of a germaphobe, man. So like, unless I have like my fucking like gloves on, I ain't sticking. Like, I found Coming to America like right on top of that. I was like, ooh, Coming to America for Tree Fitty. I'm like, hey, can I buy a Tree Fitty?
Ooh,
said
Navy
no.
SEAls. No,
But
um,
yeah.
So I got me
I was
Navy
like-
SEAls.
it can't
I
be
bought
as
that.
dirty as the plastic balls from McDonald's. Now, come on.
Oh,
you just pick up your kid by the ankles and hold him over the bin and say, grab it, son.
There you go. Yeah, do the what's the machine where you put the coins in and you
Yeah,
get
the
the
claw
magic
machine.
claw? Yeah,
yeah, the claw machine.
use your kid
That
as
is
the
the-
giant claw. Yeah,
That is the most rigged game in the history of like Carney games ever. Oh
yes,
my god,
it is.
that
it's
is
probably
that
developed
one.
by EA. Yeah.
Like, does it have loot crates?
Oh my god. You don't want to get me started down this avenue. I actually refuse to do video game speak because working behind the counter at GameStop for 7 years, I have some very jaded opinions having to deal with customers that pretty much blame you for the blunders of the industry. So
Right.
I would have to be the defender. I mean, I wouldn't defend these companies, but I'd be like, I hear you. I understand. I totally get it. So yeah.
Wait, how do you spell
I have- I-
Excalibur?
What's that?
How do you spell Excalibur?
Have I
EXCALIBUR.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I have it on Blu-ray.
I'm trying to see if it's on Amazon Prime.
You can usually get it really cheap, so yeah. But they
Yeah, I'm
stream
not.
it
I'm
quite
not
often.
really. I'm not a big gamer though. See, like I said, I got like 2 working N64s and a PS2, so I don't really. I don't. I'm
That's
not
all you
like.
need.
I
Yeah.
have like. I have a certain like. I play my No Mercy and my GoldenEye 007 and WCW. And then Madden on PlayStation 2. That's about it. So
I have a Twitch channel, but I'm neglecting it because I absolutely suck at every single game there is. So I mean, I could talk about video games. I definitely buy the new ones when they come out. I love shooters. Doom is my favorite series. It's probably the only thing I'm worth a crap at. But as far as it being in a competitive setting, I pissed away about 3 years of my life to Destiny, and I don't never want to go back to that.
I play Grand Theft Auto too. I like those. Like I still
did
have like
that
San.
too. Yeah.
I still have San Andreas. Did you ever play the Scarface game?
No, I didn't play it. I had it, but I never played it.
That was fun. That game was fun. That one, and I was really disappointed in the Sopranos game. Like when that came out, I got it and I beat it in like a day, and I was like, "That's it."
The
Like,
Godfather game was pretty good. They kind of all these kind of came out around the same time because they were kind of going off the Grand Theft Auto formula. Yeah, Godfather was good. Mercenaries was pretty good. That was kind of the same formula. Hulk Ultimate Destruction, that's one that never gets brought up. That was a good open world just go in and smash everything type of game, and I'm surprised they never did more with it, but it was a big hit when it came out. I remember that much. We could never keep it in stock when I worked at GameStop. So
yeah, there's not many of those left, is there? Like the GameStops, aren't they like pretty much kind of?
they're in trouble, yeah, because the problem is nobody really buys physical games anymore because you can just have, and I don't blame them because the last couple of those midnight launches that I went to, they just, when I worked for GameStop for 7 years, I had to plan these midnight launches because if you didn't pre-order Call of Duty when it came out, you weren't getting it. That's just all there was to it. Like every store would be completely out of that game for like weeks. So we would tell them like, look, pre-order this thing. That way your copy's not going nowhere. So I would have like 300-400 people outside my little strip mall store, and I would have to entertain these a-holes because they would show up at like 10:30, wanting to get a good spot in line. And then I got to feed them. I got to give them, host events and keep them entertained until the lines, the pre-order or pre-rings go through and all that stuff. And I had to do they used to give us a budget to do these things back when we were doing good. And then once the budgets went away, I had to start getting quote unquote, I'm using air quotes, but nobody can see me, creative, with no budget whatsoever. So my budget consisted of whatever was around me at the time. And I would have to find some way to entertain these people. Nowadays, you don't have to do that anymore. You can just pre-order it and boom, it preloads, and then you can play that shit right at midnight. And I can't say I blame people for not wanting to do that, because the last couple launches I went to, I'm like, I come out here, I stand in line, and for what? You guys did not even try. You know what I mean? So I just there's that, and what GameStop made all their money on was selling used games, and people don't really have a need to do that anymore either, because if they're buying it digital, you got it forever. If you're tired of it, you just delete it and maybe download it later and play it if you're bored and you got nothing else to do. So
I just go to Movie Trader Company for my used games.
Yeah, plus
I would rather go through their competitors.
You on it.
And you know, the thing that people say about the prices, they're absolutely true. I mean, unless you wait a couple of years, they're only going to knock $5 off of it for buying it used, and most of the time you're going to get it, and hopefully it's not all scratched all to hell, but you know, you are only getting a $5 discount versus a brand new game. If you wait until like Christmas, you can usually get these things for like $30-$40, like games that just came out. So can't say I'm blame on that, but they're trying to do things like they got all the Think Geek crap up in there, and Pokemon cards and freaking vinyl pops, which I absolutely hate. I absolutely hate those things. Whoever invented those, I hope they step on a Lego. You know, I mean, really. So
I was pissed.
They're gay, man.
Oh yeah, those things were all over that. Even the Con and Houghton Lake. Like my wife bought my kid a couple of them, and I just looked at her, and I'm like,
"You don't like me very much, do you?"
Right?
I know. I'm like, God damn it. I have to admit though, I was looking for like some specific ones. Like if I found something like, you know, really off the wall or cool, you know, I would have picked it up. But you know, he got like a Martian Manhunter, I think, and a Thanos, which I was like, you know, out of the ones you could get, I'm like, Thanos at least is like a cool character. So I'm not gonna, and he's 4, so I don't fucking care. It's not my money. It's my wife. Shit, you know, whatever. But I was just like, man, I'm not. I looked at some action figures. Like I went to a GameStop the other day when I was down at the Great Lakes Crossings at the aquarium there, and I walked in there, and in like 2 seconds, I'm like looking around. I'm like, no good Star Wars. I'm like, nah, I just left. I'm like,
I proposed a couple of ideas what I think would save that company, because I don't want to see them, you know, fail, because I worked with people for so long there that I have kind of a love-hate relationship. I know what they go through. You know, I mean, I'm not saying it's the most difficult job in the world, but it, you know, there's a lot of things that people that work behind the counter in a GameStop can't control, and most of the customers don't understand. Look, I didn't design the fucking thing. I didn't put the microtransactions in there. You know, I didn't make it so you had to have a season pass, and I sure as hell didn't tell my company to shortchange me on supply here. I mean, you could have reserved it, but you laughed at me when I said, "Hey, would you like to put $5 down on it?" Now it's fucking too late. I can't help you now. I can call around and see if somebody has it, but then the 10 or 15 customers behind you are not going to like you very much, or me, you know? So that's what we're going to go through right now. But if they wanted to stay open, honestly, all they would have to do is focus on retro systems, retro games. There's a huge market for that shit. You watch.
I thought they were going to do that.
The problem is they always had used games, but every time a new system would come out, they would phase out whatever the oldest thing was that they had in the store. So
yeah, but I thought I heard like a couple of years ago that they were going to bring that back, like really go into it, like servicing and
they
refurbishing.
I mean, that was what I suggested. I says, instead of, you know, new games market is dead. Fucking eliminate it. Just get it out of your store. Nobody gives a shit anymore. I mean, you look at Walmart's game section; it's getting smaller every day. I mean, they just rearranged our local Walmart here, and the game sections keep getting smaller because people are no longer buying physical games. They just don't need to. Those physical games are there for grandma that needs to buy a last-minute gift and doesn't know what the kid wants, and so all he sees is them playing video games. So like, well, I'll buy this, you know, $5 Sonic the Hedgehog game. Yeah, you know, so but other than that,
Arnold Palmer golf, the kids will love that.
You go in the store and they're selling cards for a download, which most kids that know how the internet operates know they don't even need the fucking card. All they got to do is put mom's credit card in there and just download the game. So it's going the way of the dinosaur. But yeah, if they focused on markets where their competitors wouldn't put them under, like, you know, you say retro game systems, start focusing on that. And also in each store, put in like a facility that fixes your shit. Like you go all over the places where they have like, you know, cell phone repair, computer repair and stuff like that. Do video game console repair, because I don't care what system you own, they all suck when it comes to customer service and fixing your shit. Every single one of those companies are terrible. All of them, Nintendo, Xbox, PS4, or, you know, PlayStation, all of them. When you try to call them up and get them to fix your shit, you're lucky if they'll even listen to you. If you get through to somebody that can speak a language that you can maybe understand, you know, so if they could, you know, bypass the process of having to call and send back, and then they're going to send you a crappy refurbished system anyway. If you could just take your console in somewhere where they'll fix it in a week, charge you a little bit of money, and then give it back to you, that would make them relevant again, I think.
Yeah.
And another thing is,
I taught myself to do that with the old NES deck. I can take it apart, clean it out.
Another market that they could explore is, you look at every single Twitch stream that you've ever watched and every single YouTuber that games, everybody's got a gaming chair. But why is it that you can never just walk into a store and fucking buy one of these things? You always have to order them off the internet. So you have to watch like 1,500 reviews just to see if this thing's comfortable or not. And you have to figure out, okay, is this thing genuinely comfortable? This, you know, $200-300 chair that this guy's buying, or is he just shilling for the company? Is he getting kickbacks? You know, just have a place where you can have these things sitting out. Somebody can go in and sit on one and just buy one and take it home. You know what I mean? Or at least have it to where you can order one and they'll ship it directly to your house. I mean, these are markets that would give them an edge, instead of, you know, having, you know, 10 feet of wall space dedicated to Xbox One games that nobody buys, brand new ones. You know, take that out and put the retro stuff in there, because people always collect that stuff. There's always a huge market for it, and you can mark that stuff up to whatever and people will pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, Funko Pops gotta have.
But hey, you know, that makes too much sense. You know that, right?
Well,
you're making too much sense.
That's why I don't work there anymore, because I was making sense and they had to fire me because, you know, I was making sense. So whatever.
Like the peasants, they're revolting.
They're not falling in line with our grand plans.
Me lord, the serfs have taught themselves to read, me lord. What are we to do?
So anyways, I'm going to keep this one short. I'm going to wrap it up with one more quick little contest. And I don't know if you guys can't come up with anything, it's no big deal. But I heard somebody on a video last night that I watched about Rotor, actually. They were saying all these terrible movies that got made and were designed. Like we watched, you know, Mac and Me last night, and they were obviously setting up for a sequel, which never happened and probably never
Thank God.
will. But it got me thinking. I'm like, if you could take any terrible movie that you've seen and make a sequel to it, like somebody gives you a small enough budget to where you could make this happen. If you could direct a movie yourself, a sequel to one of these famously bad movies that came out with, which one would it be?
I got one.
Go for it, Frank.
I would make a true Troll 3.
Oh man.
Shit.
Wow.
There are many movies that bear the alternate title of Troll 3, but never an actual Troll 3.
And that one's weird. I love Troll 2, by the way. I absolutely love Troll 2, and I love the documentary. What is it? There's a documentary of the making of
It's
Troll
called
2.
The Best Worst Movie.
The Best Worst Movie. I love that one too. I like watching them back to back. I would like to have a party, an actual party, not like a watch party, but a party where I invite people over, feed them a bunch of greened baked goods and greened liquids, have them watch the movie, and then we'll watch the documentary of the making of the bad movie. It'd be a trip. But yeah, there's this thing they used to do back in the 80s. I think they still kind of do it now. I can't prove it though, but sometimes you get a really bad movie and you look at some things, you're like, well, you know, that's almost like this property over here. Instead of calling it this terrible name for this terrible movie, let's just call it Something 2 or Something 3. And they used to do that to sell movies. I know that the Howling franchise is infamous for that shit. But I also have a theory that Deep Blue Sea 2 was not actually planned to be Deep Blue Sea 2. I have to get my hands on that filthy movie because it looks awful. But I don't think that was planned to be a Deep Blue Sea 2 at all. I think that was something that wound up on somebody's desks and they're like, oh my God, we've wasted money on this. How are we going to get people to buy it? Just call it Deep Blue Sea. Nobody will know better.
Wow.
Anybody else? I'm still trying to think of one myself. I've been contemplating it since last night.
Oh,
I
I
can't
have
think
one.
of one.
I have one.
Go for it, Pete.
Shocker by Wes Craven with Mitch Pileggi as Horace Pinker.
Oh God, I've never seen that movie.
Peter Berg was Peter Berg was one of the characters in that. It was so like, it was bad. It was kind of like the description, and I had to look up. I wanted to look up the cast of it because I couldn't remember, because I knew the one of the main actors, Peter Berg, he was a director. I just couldn't think of his name, but yeah. And Mitch Pileggi, of course, from the X-Files. But this was it was described as his kind of more comedic answer to the Nightmare on Elm Street series. But this movie was just so hokey, but it's just the way like he jumped from body to body. It was bad, but and then the ghost scenes with the girlfriend, they're bad. I still want a sequel to it though. I always did.
I'm trying to think of one that I want to do a sequel to that hasn't had one done already. Because at first I was thinking, I would love to do Showgirls 2, but look, I'm looking on IMDb and there's Showgirls 2 and 3, and I haven't seen them, and that makes me sad that I've not been a part of that.
There could be a sequel. Everybody got AIDS and shit.
Right?
That's not fair.
They were partying with Magic Johnson and Charlie Sheen.
They never did a sequel to The Beastmaster. Maybe I'll do that one.
Yes, they did. They did like 2 sequels to that.
Did they
Plus a
really?
TV series.
Did they do a Beastmaster's TV series?
I don't remember the movie. I just remember the
I need
TV
to
series.
Get out more. Oh my God.
Beastmaster TV series.
Yeah, there was Beastmaster through where he goes through some stupid time portal and comes to Earth.
The Revenge.
And then there was Beastmaster 3, which was pretty dumb. And then the TV series.
Well, the TV series,
Neda?
99 to 2002.
Yep, around the same time there was that Conan series.
Okay.
Huh, that was a Conan series?
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
I did not know that one. About that
Wasn't that Kevin Sorbo?
No.
Oh, okay.
one. That was
He was
Hercules.
He was
That's
Hercules.
That's
Yeah.
right. He's Hercules. Why did I get those two confused?
Because your brain is baked by the Florida sun.
It's probably what it is. It's really hot today too. I'm
Yeah.
like sitting right in front of my fan, so if my microphone's a little noisy, it's tough.
No,
But
don't hear anything.
yeah, maybe I'll probably do a sequel to Dead Heat just to get people to look at the first movie again. Like I don't even care if it's a good movie. I'll like, give me a budget of like $12,000. I'll make it just to get people to watch. I'm sure I can get Treat Williams and Joe Piscopo because I don't think they've exactly been busy lately doing much of anything. So yeah,
I'll do a sequel to Congo, so you get Ernie Hudson back to work.
Oh,
Get his
I
ass back to work.
Dude,
I love
Congo,
that.
I
I
went and
love
saw
that
that in the
movie.
theater, and it's like,
Yes.
remember the posters were like from the writer of Jurassic Park, Congo. I saw.
Oh my God.
No, I love that
and Bruce
movie.
Campbell's in this, and I'm like,
Hmm?
are they going to really do this through the whole movie with this gorilla and this talking?
Yep.
This gorilla that's obviously in a freaking monkey suit from Party City.
A gorilla and a
Really
monkey
gonna do
suit.
this?
so bad.
I love that movie. Oh my
I know,
God.
I love it too.
So bad.
I went to
It's
see
so
that in the
bad.
theater opening night. Oh my God, that movie is so good. I bought the DVD like a couple years ago. I was like, my wife got it for me for Christmas. I'm like, I want this. It was so. I love that movie. It's so hokey. And Tim
Yep.
Robbins, really, can you go wrong?
No, you can't
Can
go
you
wrong
go
with Tim Robbins. His Viking movie was pretty good.
It had
Eric
such
the
that-
Viking. I love that movie.
Yeah.
That movie has such a good cast. Like it
Mhm.
really does.
It doesn't deserve the cast that it has. It's
No.
kind of like Mac and Me didn't deserve its wonderful soundtrack.
Yep.
Congo really doesn't deserve its stellar cast. Where did they go
Congo,
wrong?
Bruce Campbell, like Godzilla wasted friggin' oh
Did
fuck.
you- He's like in there for 5 seconds.
Shit, blanking on his name. Cranston.
I'll tell you a bad one too
Right.
is The Island of Dr. Moreau from 1999.
Oh yes.
95, I think that one came out.
With Val Kilmer and Marlon Brando.
Val Kilmer and Marlon Brando.
What the hell?
They famously hated each other. Well, originally the director of Hardware was going to do. He wrote The Island of Dr. Moreau. His first draft looked absolutely awesome. All right, and he got fired from the set basically because this was one of those producer dickeries, and the producers kept coming in and pushing this guy around because he was very new to the film industry, and they kept changing the cast on him, and they wanted to, you know, back then in the 90s, not so much now, but back in the 90s, they would equate actors with the box office draw. So if you put this person in this part, you'll get more butts and seats, because The Island of Dr. Moreau as a story just didn't interest the producers in the slightest, even though it was Jules Verne, or was it H.G. Wells? H.G. Wells, I think it is. So they put Val Kilmer in at the last minute. I don't know. I guess he owed somebody a favor. I don't know. Got caught doing something or other. And then they got Marlon Brando in there. And these two people famously hated each other to the point. And there's a whole documentary about this movie and how it got made and just completely flopped. But these two hated each other so much that there was entire days where they, if you guys aren't familiar with The Island of Dr. Moreau, it's basically on this island. Marlon Brando's character is turning animals into people. Okay. And there's various different stages of evolution. And he's trying to splice animal genes with human genes and create a different race of people. So you have all these different types of, some of them are a little bit more evolved than others. The more evolved ones live in the house with them. There's this whole hierarchy of different animals and things like that. So these people on this movie are in very elaborate, you know, makeup. They might look like a part cheetah or part, you know, wolf or something like that. So these people would be in makeup for hours. And Marlon Brando and Val Kilmer hate each other so much that one wouldn't come out of the trailer until the other one came out first. So there would literally be days where these people would be sitting around in makeup playing poker, all right, waiting for these assholes to come out of their trailer, and one wouldn't come out until the other one came out first. And if you ever watch that movie, it's painful, all right? But the entire last half of the movie is Val Kilmer doing this intentionally bad Marlon Brando impression. And they kind of wrote it into the movie like he dropped acid and he was just tripping out. And he's basically doing this terrible Marlon Brando impression. And my theory is that he just said, fuck it, and started doing his own thing. And they just ran out of film and just kept rolling the camera and just let it go and just worked into the script that this guy was just tripping balls and wasn't going to cooperate in any way, shape, or form. I mean, this movie goes to complete train wreck like almost immediately. Like, you know, starts off like a normal movie, and then like within 10 minutes, it's like, wow, they really lost track of this one. So that's might make a good watch party. I don't know, but yeah.
Yes, it
That
would.
sounds horrible. What a bunch of assholes.
I saw that one in theater too, and I'm like, what the fuck did I just watch? I wanted to ask you guys, is there a movie that was ever so bad that you walked out on it?
I've never
That I
actually
can think of.
I've
Mine
turned
was,
some movies off, but
Tales from the Hood too.
I watched
I
that for
haven't
fun because they talked about it on the show.
You're a
I
sick
haven't
man.
seen it yet.
I didn't watch the whole thing. I just wanted. I actually watched a little bit of each part, but then I skipped all the way just to hear them say, "Welcome to hell, motherfucker."
If you guys will sit through anything, then you're a special breed of people. You guys never walked out in any movies ever?
I have.
No.
I haven't that I can recall. I would remember that.
Yeah, I walked out on a few. I walked out on Braveheart because this guy that I went with was a friend of mine, and when I was in the Navy, and he was one of these guys that thought that anything violent was funny, like he would laugh at like violence in the movie. So like, like some lady gets her throat slit and he's laughing uncontrollably, and like people are staring at us, and I'm just, oh my god.
Shit.
So by the time they got to the end of the movie, I'm like, I can't take this anymore. And I just got up and walked out. I didn't like the movie anyway, because I thought it was like just savagely depressing, but that really ruined the experience for me. Just being with somebody that like really like, I'm like, I don't know who you are, and I don't want you to ever talk to me ever again. I walked out of Dusk Till Dawn. That one's not very popular because a lot of people like that movie, but I was deeply saddened that this movie starts off this really interesting character study and then just goes balls up horror movie slasher comedy. Like I was a big fan of what's her name?
Salma Hayek.
Salma Hayek.
Mm-hmm.
They
Yep.
show her and she's absolutely gorgeous, and then she's dead in 10 minutes. And I'm like, well, that's it. I'm out. I'm checked out of this one because I wasn't invested. Everybody that I got invested in with that movie like died immediately. I'm like, so I'm left with the characters that I care the least about in this movie, which is George Clooney. I don't know. I'm not a fan of that movie at all.
He's a shithead anyway.
I sat through Fools Rush In the theater with my damn girlfriend at the time because Salma Hayek was in it. She was like, "Well, at least Salma Hayek's in it." I'm like, "Yeah, but it's got Matthew Perry, and he's such a douchebag."
What's the worst date movie you had? I went and saw a Monster with Charlize Theron. Yeah.
Oh Jesus, that's a hell of a date movie.
That was a first date. That should have been my first sign right there that I shouldn't have pursued that relationship any further at all. That was her idea to see it too.
Let's see, what was it? Probably. Oh God, what was that? I'm trying to think here. It was well, I can tell you one of them was Titanic.
No, so
Well,
long too.
One of them was Titanic. I think I was in like what? When did that come out? Was it 97, 98? Yeah, I was like a senior in high school.
97.
Yeah, I was a senior in high school when that came out, and I went to see it I had to go see it with two different girls. That's what it was. Like because like I was dating. Yeah, like I ended up seeing this day. It was in the theater so long I went to see it too. Yeah, but it was in like the span of a couple weeks.
Let me ask you this: when you're watching that movie, were you thinking, "Bitch, you just met the guy. You just met him. You're going to carry the torch for that many years. You knew him for one day."
Damn straight, man.
I'm looking at him in the water in the end. I'm looking over to the girl I'm with. I'm like, bitch, I would knock you off that fucking door.
Oh, the Leo sickle. Yeah, that's my favorite part of the movie.
I didn't like him, but I'm like, if that was me in the water, I'd be ripping her off that door. I'd be jumping up there. Fuck you, Rose. Get off here.
Did you hear about the time traveler theory?
Yes.
That movie?
Yes. Yes.
It's pretty interesting.
It truly is.
What's the time traveler theory?
The theory is that Jack is a time traveler who went back in time to save Rose from the Titanic because he
Why?
I don't know, but he didn't have any money from that time period, so he had to win a ticket.
Oh, God.
He has a haircut and a backpack that don't match the time period.
Matches the 90s. Yeah.
Yep, he mentions Coney Island, which hadn't been built yet, and another town in Wisconsin or something that hadn't been founded yet. So he's constantly dropping hints throughout the movie of things that don't exist at that time.
So basically, he was sent back to save Sarah Connor, and he wound up in the wrong spot. So
right?
Maybe, but
yeah, you got to make the most with what you got, right?
But yeah, look it up. It's like.
Let's do it again.
This is James Cameron, after all. So, anyways,
hey, look, there's your sequel right there to make Titanic 2, but that's Terminators in it.
I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this 200 stream. Thanks for anybody that's listening. Even if you're listening to this in post, thank you so much, guys, for showing up. I think going forward on this channel, when I do live streams, I'm just going to do them impromptu rather than schedule them because, and I apologize if I seemed like I was a little short yesterday. I have kind of this anxiety thing where every time I've ever planned a party in my entire life, everybody drops out at the last minute. So I just immediately oh shit, here we go again.
It's because we don't really like you.
That's usually what it is. Yeah. So yeah. One time I planned a party in 99, and that's when I had my Darth Maul costume with the contact lenses, and I
that's
spent
why nobody spent
a bunch of money on this thing, and I invited I think I invited 50 people, and I was living in an apartment, and everybody was like, "We're totally going to be there." And the night of the party, I had 3 people show up. I mean, I was pissed, I had food, I had beer, everybody had given me written confirmations that they're going to come to my party, or well, not necessarily written, but we're totally going to be there. Even the day of, we'll see you tonight. And literally 3 people. I was so pissed. I literally quit my job there because I was so mad about it. I was just okay, well, I see who my friends are and my coworkers are, so I'm out of here. I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're saying is you were the one guy who didn't party like it was 1999.
You know, growing up in the 80s, you see all those damn John Hughes movies, and every time there's a party, there's always like 10,000 people in one living room. I always wanted one of those, and I figured it's Halloween of 1999. Y2K is going to kill us all next year anyway. So, I mean, I could at least, you know, have one crazy wild party. Even if I get kicked out of this apartment, it'll have been worth it because I will have had the time of my life. But yeah, every single party I've ever planned is always wound up like that. So, yeah, just streams going forward. It'll just be like an impromptu thing. Like, yeah, we'll do a stream sometime this week, and then you'll know, boom, it's on. You know, so make sure you guys, if you're listening, you hit that bell icon so that you know that we do these, because the fan cast will be my live thing going forward. I'm not going to say I won't never stream again, but I'll probably just let that be the live side of what I do, and then, you know, these things will just be like a celebratory or impromptu kind of thing. So.
One of us,
Roger.
one of us, team.
Absolutely. But thank you so much, guys, for showing up. I appreciate it. And you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And this is the Groovinator. You guys want to plug your channels before we
Yes.
I got nothing. I have no
Go over
channel.
to check out the fan cast with an
that's
E at
right.
the end. Like, comment, subscribe, share.
we carry
steal
on
your
every
friends-
Friday night.
Yep, every Friday night at 8:30 Eastern. We put on a show. We are the show about the show regarding world-class bullshitters. And somehow we just kind of got forgotten.
We make fun
So
of.
what
We
we're
don't
so-
just make fun of pop culture. We make fun of other shows that make fun of pop culture as well.
Damn right.
Yep.
We're the
where
Bush League.
That's where we have the edge. Yeah.
But yeah, help us grow any way you can. Steal your friends' phones, subscribe through them. You know, get our numbers up. Help us get bigger.
Do that. Do it. Do it
Do
now.
it.
How
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
about you, Pete? Plug your stuff.
Do it.
Well, ETEP Wakui is a place to be reviews. We are up to 48 subscribers. I picked up 3 since last night. You can catch. I do some videos there, and the podcast is over on Anchor, iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, and you can apparently you can catch me on the Fancast Friday nights at 8:30 now. Thank you, guys, for Mr. Frank and Channel Dad Brian Lape for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
And,
I want to send a super big shout out to Channel Dad Brian Late for saving
Yeah.
my butt last night trying to get the stream started, and I did absolutely everything backwards, and he came in and walked me through it, and now I know how to do it. So thank you so much, Brian Lape, if you're listening to this, for saving my butt. I owe you one.
Yay, he's finally good for something.
I was buying that prostitute as a reward.
So he made sure he threw a couple digs while I was at it. He's like, so see, you guys always blame me like it's a Mac thing, but it's not really
It's still a Mac thing. We're gonna keep seeing it.
No, it totally is.
It's
Yep.
still funny to
That's
say.
it.
Always
We
him.
make fun of Mac users, but anyways, yeah. So guys, make sure you check out www.raidersoflostflix.com. Everything that we write now are called sharticles. I heard that in a live stream once, and I laughed so hard I decided, I'm like, okay, you know what? From now on, we write sharticles. So if you go to the website, it actually says sharticles. So you have something to read whilst you poop, okay? Because I think that's important to have. And also, I have a comics section too. I have to upload a couple of strips real quick before I do what I want to do today, which is enjoy the rest of this wonderful summer day in Florida. So you guys have yourselves a groovy day, and this is the Groovinator signing out. Peace.
Sayonara.
Peace.